Hey guys, I'm going to try to do a comparison video that I've wanted to do for years. And that is between the Spyderco Manix 2 and the Sig Sauer K320 made by Hogue. These knives are very similar in a lot of ways. Ergonomics, shape, size. And when I was looking at replacing a knife that I'd lost that I'd had for years, I came across this style and I ended up going with the Hogue because of the price difference. I think when I bought this was $110, $120, somewhere in that area, and a lot of the Manixes were up there 160 plus and can easily go up to a couple $100 real quick. After having the Hogue, there were a couple of things that kept me from buying the Manix. As far as not quite the knife I was looking for. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Realistically, this knife is a beast. This knife is fantastic in a lot of ways. But I found that for me, carrying it in my pocket, this width here, with this weight, the particular pants that I wear, was just a little too much. I wanted something a little more nimble, a little lighter for every day, because I'm constantly getting in and out of vehicles and moving around, and I didn't need quite this hard of a use of a knife. So that's the backstory, some of it. So let's move on. Let's get into some comparisons on these. These knives have some amazing ergonomics, and I kind of wanted to show these off and show the differences. I'm comparing today with the Manix 2 lightweight, and this has the Spidey Sense steel. Don't know if you can see it or not, but that Spy 27 steel. And I've used this for a solid 8 weeks. Both of these have a minimum of 2 months of carry consistently with them, as used as about as much as possible. I've done some food prep with them. I've done a lot of food prep with this one. I've done, cutting packages, zip ties, all around chores, whatever you use a knife for. A little bit of whittling just to play with it and stuff. But, oh, kids must be about home. The dog's going crazy. So I have a pretty good idea on how well these work and have a pretty good ability to compare them. So, in the pocket wise, this lightweight one, even though it does not appear much thinner at all, it fits in the pocket thinner. This is slightly thicker, but not by much, but this is slightly heavier as well. And for some reason, this one just disappears a little bit. And that's wonderful. It is still wide, so there's still that issue of the width there. Let's see if I can stand these up in a way that you can possibly see them well. Or not. Wish you could talk to me and tell me how well that comes through. Spyderco is flat, straight across. So there's, no real bulbousness or contouring. It is just flat. It is not uncomfortable being flat. It has a great grip, has a couple places for your fingers, can choke up well, good jimping. Same thing here, except it's not flat. It's a little bit more contoured, and just, you can feel it. You can feel it more contoured everywhere. Still two places, 2 finger choils, jimping. Jimping is metal back through here. This lightweight doesn't have it because of the liner, so this is, your heavier ones will have it. The reason I went with a lightweight is or some of the reasons. One, this one was heavier. Two, I figured this would be a closer comparison. I didn't realize this would weigh noticeably more. I don't have the stats on it right offhand, but it does weigh a bit more. And hopefully you can see that there a little bit by chance on how those sit side by side. Blade thickness, very similar. This being a complete flat grind, this being a, I don't know if that's a saber, I think it's a saber grind. Some people call it flat grind. Has the wedge up top, swedge, or whatever. The jimping on the Spyderco is a lot finer, a lot more textured versus the roundness here, but back here you get a better purchase there if you like jimping. Some people like it, some people hate it. This is not annoying in any way. The jimping on this is actually pretty controlled, pretty kind of rounded. It's not sharp, so it's not anything that's going to cut in or anything like that. Thickness on just the handle part. Let's close these before I slice myself. I'm not including the blade. So in the hand, the Spyderco is a little thicker through here than here. So again, just ergonomic preferences, but a little bit of difference. This has a little bit of fake-ish jimping on the outside there. The plastic has a little bit of jimping there. I don't know if that would do anything, honestly, on this knife. It's not enough texture. You can feel it, but it's definitely not annoying or anything like that. You may get a little bit of grip. Now, speaking of grip, their bi-directional grip on this is great. It works really, really well. Where the Hogue isn't bad here, but nowhere near as grippy as that, and there's nothing up here. And in a previous video, I showed how I actually dimpled this a little bit just to give it a bit more texture, just because I don't mind a little bit of texture on my knives. The roundedness of this follows through a lot more, and the quality of plastic on the Hogue feels a lot better than the Spyderco. Spyderco is more squared off here, doesn't have the contouring as the Hogue does. See if we can get up in here. Gosh, I wish I could see better. I don't know if that's gonna give you a good view or not. Get some light on it there, maybe a little. But the contouring there is definitely better. It feels more premium in the hand. It really does. This does feel more toyish and plastic-ish. Also with the non-screwable rivets in there, makes it feel cheaper as well. I bought this from Knife Center. Knife Center's pictures showed Torx screws in there, Torx headed screws in there. I didn't have it. I was kind of upset about that. I didn't like that. I like the idea of being able to take the knives apart to clean them, because I will use them, and you know that limits the use of this knife to me. I don't want to go, you know, cutting into things that are going to be a problem to clean out of this. It's just an area I don't want to go to. Yes, we can pull the blade out and we can get it back in there, but there's only so much you can do, and I don't know how, by pulling the blade out, how much it'll be a challenge with this carrier here. So if you know what it's like to pull this blade out, leaving the lock system in there and putting the blade back in, it may all hold together just fine and be simple and easy. I don't know. I haven't taken it apart. I don't really want to get to that level if I don't have to. Whereas the Hogue, all screwed together, so you can take this apart. I don't think I've ever taken this one apart. I've taken a few other Hogues apart just to check them out and see how they're put together and stuff, and not too awful bad putting it together back and forth. Lengthwise, they are basically the same. I mean, you can tell somebody was copying someone else. Oh, that looks like it's spam. Let's screen that call. But the length is about the same. The height, the Spyderco is actually a little taller, which kind of surprised me, considering it feels better in the pocket slightly than the Hogue, because that was part of the problem with the Hogue, is this width across here, which that is slightly taller than the Hogue. But that Hogue just has more mass to it. I mean, I would say it's close to an ounce stronger. Or I shouldn't say stronger, but an ounce more. I'd have to get the stats. That also comes to where this doesn't have any liners in the lightweight. It's just this plastic material, and then the locking back, this bar here comes back through and stuff as well. I don't know if anybody's ever tried ripping some of these newer plastic polymers and stuff apart or trying to destroy them. Some of these are absolutely tough. I mean, some of them I know for a fact, by my bare hands, I will never be able to do anything to destroy this. Even though it may feel cheap, it's not going to happen. I mean, me with a hammer probably isn't going to destroy this. You would have to use something, and to try to get this to shear in any way, you know, thinking that this would crack, break, or rip just by a twisting force or something like that, I think you'd be surprised at how tough these polymers are. However, with that said, Hogue does grips for firearms, and they've been doing it for a long time. They have their polymers down. They understand it very well, and I think they probably have better access to doing more at a more cost-effective level than somebody else trying to come backwards to meet that polymer industry. These liners come on back through. That's part of the jimping back here. So there is a little bit more, you know, mass there. These do not flex. I mean, yeah, these do not flex. Spyderco, a little. And you have to put some serious force into it, but you can get a little flex in there. This here, I guess, maybe. But, so ergonomics wise, the Hogue Deca wins, hands down. It is, in every way, I like its ergonomics better in hand. It just feels great. The Spyderco Manix lightweight feels more athletic, feels faster to move. That blade is so super slicey, such a beautiful thing to use on a lot of things. That's where this knife really shines, is that slicey geometry on that blade. And even in hand feeling, these ergonomics are better than most of the knives that I own. Trying to think, another good one just to throw in for a side. The Doug Ritter Hogue, known for its ergonomics and stuff, not bad at all. In fact, a lot of people praise it as possibly the best ergonomic knife there is. Tell you what, it may be for some, but these two here, they're kind of in a league of, you know, they have their own style, and I like it. I agree with what they've done there. That's really, really good. What else can I say about these? I mean, the lock mechanism is what else I can talk about on these. I did my due diligence of research, and I knew that this ball lock system was not going to be as smooth or as easy to operate as the crossbar lock system that is in the Hogue. But a couple of things that annoy me with the Spyderco. It's not the release, it's in the closing. That time, closed great. But like right here, you're just close to that level, but pulling this on back does nothing. Nothing at all. You can kind of shake it down some a little, but it takes a fair bit of force there, but it stops there. And it stops there a lot. And you have to do that motion. Whereas with Hogue's setup, did you see that? Let me show you again. Try to. So as this gets close, see we're close, just releasing it pulls it on back in. That in itself, I didn't know I liked so much. Or I didn't know that I gotten used to that I kind of expected all of them to operate that way. Because as this is dropping, you can time that to just suck it back in. I didn't know I did that. It probably just sitting here playing with it, subconsciously trained that by letting that go, it just, at that time, just sucks it in. Nice, smooth, easy, great operation. Spyderco, as long as it sits at the bottom and doesn't bounce off of there, you're good. If you bounce it to there, you're not good. It's not going to do anything different. So, even putting it upside down, you have to work at it a bit. That little bit there, I find extremely annoying now because I just subconsciously got used to that system so much. I wish that I could design knives, or I wish I could be part of the design on a knife collaboration or something, because I would really start with putting these two together. There's just certain things out of both of them that I wish this blade was on this Hogue. Plain and simple. I wish the Hogue, I don't even know if I would want it any lighter. I think realistically, for what it is, this knife is a beast of a knife. This knife, I feel that the way that it's built, the ergonomics of it, this is a lot tougher than what most people ever brag about. And a lot of these tough, big, huge folders, you know, get some praise and get some recognition. This Sig Sauer K320 is, I think, kind of got overlooked. I think they were a little late on the super steel stuff, or they didn't upgrade in time. This still has the S30V, and you know, it's not Magna Cut this day, or you know, other things. Although Spyderco kind of found the same thing with their Spy 27 steel. I've sharpened this steel. I think I'm at 2 times now. Yeah, I think I've only sharpened this 2 times. And one time is my wife was abusing all of the knives on a marble cutting board. If that annoys you on wood, just imagine hearing it constantly on marble. You don't do that on marble. Marble is not a great cutting board unless all you're doing is slicing. Even then, it's not the choice that I have. But that's besides the point. I resharpened a lot of knives after that. I'm going to see if I can get the footage out on those one at a time and maybe try to overlay some of that in here with it, because we did do a lot of food prep with these knives. We put them through quite a bit of testing and stuff, just because I like to know what works great for what. So that's my little side-by-side. I'm sure I missed a few things just because all these ergonomic details are so good. There's so many of them, you know, from how this angles back here for things to grab on with. Everything just kind of, I mean, these 2 knives, I tell you what, I kind of want to pick up a normal G10 or micarta handled version, the little heavier version, not the lightweight. And the one thing that's probably keeping me from it is this ball lock system that they have. I like it. I like it a lot better than a frame lock, than a liner lock, than, you know, a lot of locks. The only other lock, you know, I like the bar locks. That's what I'm used to. The only other lock that comes close is the Spyderco one, their compression lock system, but I still don't like it as much as that one. I do want to hit on fit and finish though real quick before I go. I didn't hit on that, especially with the Spyderco. Hogue's fit and finish is solid. There's absolutely nothing to complain about. I don't know if you can hear the force that I'm putting onto that, but there's no side to side wiggle on this. If there is, it's less than I can see. There's no up and down wiggle. The lockup is freaking phenomenal on this. It is just solid. It feels like one solid piece. Everybody knows what a full tang fixed blade is like. When that comes out and locks in use and everything, it feels like that. Not all Hogues feel that way, just so you know. Let's see what the Ritter. Okay, the Ritter's solid too. It's great fit and finish. But the Spyderco, that one there, it takes it to another level. There's no side movement, and keep in mind this is lighter, so I would expect more movement. There's no up and down movement, but this connection point, or this point where the blade comes back into that stop. Let me see if I can we focus there? Can we focus there with some light? But that line across there of where those fit, where they match, is like they were cut from the same piece of bar stock. And when that clicks in there, that thing is just great. I mean, it's you can tell it's making full contact. And unless you've done some kind of machining or something like that, or some finish carpentry, fit and finish of things, to have something connect like that once is great. To be able to build something that moves constantly. And this knife's been opened thousands of times now. I mean, thousands. And it just is there. It is almost seamless. It is there. The only thing, and you have to be freaking, very critical minded, is the blade is slightly to the right. And we're talking minuscule amounts. Just where it matches there. I don't think there's any way I can show you how close that actually is. No. The shadow's enough to even take it away. So no one else in the world would notice that except a machinist or somebody, and even then it's not. Yeah, like I said, the only reason I noticed it is because I almost think it came from the exact same piece of bar stock. It didn't. There are two different kinds of materials, I'm pretty sure, but to get things to fit that way is very, very hard, and to do it repetitively is extremely hard, because this one by all means deserves some serious bragging rights for its fit and finish. It's great. Both of them came with really great edges out of the box. No complaints at all. I ran the Spyderco edge until my wife, slammed it on marble repeatedly until she could get steel to roll. I think that was her goal. She achieved it. S30V, I have had some chippiness when I took it down a little thinner. I think I took it down to like 17 degrees on the sharpening, and I was starting to get a little bit of chippiness. This knife's been sharpened probably 6 times, 8 times, somewhere in there. But I found 25 degrees on each side is great for this. It cuts so fantastically well and just does a great job. I guess we can cut a couple pieces of paper before we go. This is just very thin flyer paper. I mean, that's just great. See that right there? That just subconsciously, I didn't realize that became a thing. This one here, it's been a working edge. So this one probably, oh, she ain't bad. She ain't bad. I can feel that it could probably use a little bit of a stropping or something, but yeah, there's a little toothiness, a little grab. But I also, on my working edges, I don't mind some toothiness to it. Looky there, I'm just kind of rolling around, because I find it hooks in and grabs better when I'm, cutting through things. It's not bad at all. So a lot of people complain about these, or a lot of people don't realize how sharp this stuff can actually get. It's pretty insane. No complaints on the Spy 27 steel. No corrosion, no weakness, no complaints at all. I mean, great stuff. Thanks for watching. Leave 10-15 comments. I dare you. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit all that good stuff. But anyways, I should probably get to work on a couple other things. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. If I don't get the B-roll footage rolled in, forgive me. Have a great day.